Hi, everyone. You know, one of our focus area, as I mentioned before, is always, the situation in Taiwan Strait and South China Sea, East China Sea, right? Unfortunately, the tension there continue to increase, although we have, new focus in Ukraine. There's a war going on, but still the tension around Taiwan is increasing. So we better look at it. So today, I want to really to talk with you about how dangerous actually is the situation there, and how dangerous is CCP in the sense of risk of war. Yeah. So now, first of all, recently, we noticed that although Xi Jinping, the party leader, sent his special convoy to Russia, to European Union, someone called Li Hui, and tried to make a diplomatic offensive. So the idea is to show the world that they want peace, they want to help to make the war in Ukraine to stop and to maintain peace there. And they go to different European countries like France and England and so on, and try to tell them that, don't be so silly to stick together with America. You have nothing to win. You better stick with us, stay with us. They have more to win. This kind of so-called diplomatic offensive. On the other hand, inside China, in the last year, Xi Jinping has been doing a lot of things to prepare for a war. Already more than a year ago, both actually even maybe 3 years ago, before the Corona time, he already encouraged people to start to make sure that everywhere in China you have a high pile up in stock of foodstuff, everywhere. And he sent officials everywhere in China to check whether all this stock are really filled up with foodstuff. And then he encouraged young men to join the army, and changing the law to make people to become soldiers. So all these kind of measures show that it is a preparation of war, right? So now then, of course, a lot of people, a lot of YouTubers also discuss about how strong actually CCP is, or China under CCP, and most of the comparison focus on military power, a little bit on economic power. So I mean, it's nothing wrong. Military power is also a factor. We have to look at, what weapons America and the free world have, and what weapon China and the other member in the axis of evils, what do they have, and so on. That's fine. That, of course, has a certain importance. And the second thing people look into is the economic power, which is also true. It's a factor. So when it comes to military power, I would say most experts draw the conclusion that America is still stronger, clearly stronger, except those Chinese who are brainwashed by the party. They believe that, which is also a dangerous thing. They believe that they have a better weapon now. In AI, in hypersonic rocket and all this. So that is also a dangerous factor if the Chinese people really believe that they are much stronger. So, and then people also, of course, compare political power. Political power basically is your political influence in the world. And China has been increasing its power of influence. But I think most people also agree, most objective experts also agree, in political power, America together with all the democratic countries in the free world are still a bit superior to Chinese political influence. So now, by saying so, it sounds like that, well, then it's no big deal. Then it's People's Republic of China under leadership of Communist Party is not that strong, not that dangerous, yeah. And but that's not true, because very often we forget one more factor, which is not the military power, not the economic power, not the political, but the soft power. Well, political power a little bit, overlap with the concept of soft power. And here is really important. Soft power, the idea of soft power is to win the mind, and even better, to win the heart of the people. That's the ultimate goal of soft power. Both for your own people, in this case CCP, to win the heart and trust of the Chinese people, but also to win sympathy from all people in the world. Yeah? If they manage, that can become a much more dangerous weapon than all the other factors. As I used to say, when Hitler, running a relatively small country, Germany, before the Second World War, and he managed to conquer many European countries. I mean, the first victim, I think, that was Poland. And Poland in area is even bigger than Germany, in population a little smaller. And he managed to conquer, almost the whole Europe. Yeah? Why? Not only because they had better weapon than the other, but most because Hitler was very successful in his propaganda, in his soft power. He not only propaganda, but all the soft measures he does to make people to trust him. For example, he did improve the economy of Germany. People are happy to get more money in the pocket, yeah. And he built a lot of motorway, like what is happening in China too, yeah. So people get happy. I mean, without all these millions and millions of people in Germany at that time who believe in the lies of Hitler, Hitler could never be that powerful. So now we come back to today. It's the same thing. If the Communist Party of China do not manage to brainwash so many Chinese people so that they believe in the party, they would never be that dangerous. And even worse, if the Chinese Communist Party is not so successful in winning sympathy outside China, then, they would also be much less powerful. So I think this is the most decisive factor if we want to reduce the danger of war, in the area around Taiwan, then we better look into this factor. Of course, we should still continue look into military factor, economic factor, political factor, but never forget soft power. Soft power, because the Chinese Communist Party has been systematically and strategically invested a lot of effort in the soft power. They started very early already. Not only the Chinese communists, actually the Soviet communists, they were at that time a comrade. They already spent a lot of effort. Can you imagine that one of their strategy, for example, in the 50s, is to infiltrate all the journalist university, journalist educational institution in the world? Because if we do like this, they hope all the journalists will then become, people thinking in the way we want them to think. Yeah, believe that socialism is not bad, and believe that a lot of bad things happening in the world is because of American imperialism or because of capitalism and so on. So, and maybe they have a certain success. Yeah, I know that they infiltrate already in the 50s, and then even more in the 60s, 70s, and well, I would say since the 90s, then tremendously wide and deep infiltration into the higher education. And the first one was journalism. Yeah, Because imagine if 70% of the journalists write in a way that they like, then, then their soft power has been very successful. And this is only an example. There are many, many. I would say they have had a systematic strategy how to influence all walks of people in America and Europe and Japan, because this they have seen as their potential opponents, right? And with right, with right. Yeah? So we have to, in order to reduce the risk of a big war, we have to look more into these factors. I know that many Western and democratic governments do spend some effort in watching what China is doing in soft power and what they should do in counter soft power. And this is important. Although it sounds soft, but it can be a decisive factor for peace or war. So much for today. Thank you. Bye-bye.